abandoned and erased from official maps. This is the story of Wittenoom, a town that once promised prosperity and a bright future for those who called it home. But today, it stands as a haunting reminder of a deadly mistake, a place where life was brought to a sudden, tragic halt. Silence. A heavy, unsettling silence. It hangs in the air over Wittenoom, a silence broken only by the howling desert wind. This is a ghost town, a place frozen in time, haunted by a tragic past. The air is thick with the ghosts of miners, their laughter and chatter now replaced by the whisper of the wind. Wittenoom, once a beacon of hope and prosperity, stands as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked industrial ambition. This is a story of human resilience, corporate greed, and the enduring power of nature. It is a story that must be told. The story of Wittenoom began in the 1930s. Lang Hancock, an Australian prospector, flew over the Hamersley Ranges in Western Australia. He was searching for iron ore. What he found instead would change the course of the region forever. Nestled within the ancient gorges was a vast deposit of blue asbestos. World War II was raging. Asbestos, with its remarkable fire-resistant properties, was in high demand. It was used in everything from ships and tanks to buildings and homes. Hancock's discovery was a gold mine, literally. In 1943, a mining camp was established near the asbestos deposit. It was named Wittenoom, after a nearby gorge. The town was born out of necessity, a rough-and-tumble outpost in the harsh Australian outback. But it wasn't long before Wittenoom transformed from a dusty mining camp into a bustling town. News of the asbestos discovery spread like wildfire. People from all over Australia and indeed the world flocked to Wittenoom in search of work and a better life. The town boomed. New houses, shops, and even a hotel sprang up. The mine was the lifeblood of Wittenoom. The blue asbestos, known as crocidolite, was prized for its high quality. Miners, their faces and clothes covered in the fine blue dust, worked tirelessly to extract the valuable mineral from the earth. They were proud of their work, proud to be part of something bigger than themselves. Life in Wittenoom wasn't easy. The heat was oppressive, the flies relentless, and the isolation palpable. But the people were a resilient bunch. They formed a tight-knit community, bound together by shared hardship and the promise of a brighter future. Unbeknownst to the residents of Wittenoom, a silent killer lurked in their midst. Asbestos, the very substance that had brought them prosperity, was slowly poisoning them. Asbestos fibers, when inhaled, lodged themselves deep within the lungs. Over time, these fibers cause inflammation and scarring, leading to a range of deadly diseases including lung cancer, mesothelioma, a rare and aggressive cancer of the lining of the lungs, and asbestosis, a chronic lung disease. What made asbestos particularly insidious was its long latency period. It could take decades for the health effects of asbestos exposure to manifest. Miners, their lungs filled with asbestos fibers, continued to work unaware of the ticking time bomb within them. The dangers of asbestos were not unknown to the scientific community. Studies conducted as early as the 1930s had linked asbestos exposure to lung disease. However, this information was slow to reach the public and even slower to be acted upon. Warnings ignored. As early as the 1940s, doctors began to raise concerns about the health of asbestos workers in Wittenoom. They reported unusually high rates of lung disease and cancer among miners. Their warnings, however, fell on deaf ears. The mining company, blinded by profit and driven by a culture of denial, downplayed the risks of asbestos exposure. The government, eager to protect a vital industry, turned a blind eye to the growing body of evidence. Profit, it seemed, trumped human life. The people of Wittenoom, unaware of the true extent of the danger, continued to work, live, and raise their families in the shadow of the mine. They breathed in the asbestos-laden dust. Their children played in it, their lives intertwined with the deadly mineral. The town's fate was sealed. The truth, as it always does, eventually came to light. In the 1960s, the link between asbestos exposure and deadly diseases became impossible to ignore. The world woke up to the dangers of the miracle mineral, but for Wittenoom, it was already too late. The mine finally closed in 1966, but the damage was done. The town, once a symbol of prosperity, became synonymous with industrial negligence and human tragedy. People began to leave, seeking a safer life elsewhere. But for many it was too late. They carried the deadly legacy of Wittenoom within their lungs. The government, in a controversial move, decided to erase Wittenoom from the map, literally. The town was degazetted in 1979, stripped of its official status. Services were cut off, roads closed, and residents were encouraged to relocate. Wittenoom, once a thriving community, was left to fade into obscurity. Today, Wittenoom stands as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked industrial greed. The town is a contaminated wasteland. Asbestos fibers are everywhere, in the soil, the air, and the buildings. It is a toxic time capsule, frozen in the throes of a bygone era. The once bustling streets are now deserted, reclaimed by nature. Buildings stand empty, their windows shattered, their paint peeling. The wind howls through the empty houses, carrying with it the ghosts of the past. Warning signs, stark and unforgiving, dot the landscape, reminding any intrepid visitor of the invisible danger that lurks beneath the surface. Wittenoom is a place of eerie beauty and profound sadness. It is a testament to the resilience of nature and the folly of man. The human cost of Wittenoom is, quite frankly, immeasurable. Thousands of people, miners, their families, and even visitors, were exposed to deadly asbestos fibers. The fight for justice for the victims of Wittenoom has been long and arduous. Lawsuits have been filed, inquiries launched, and compensation schemes established. But the scars, both physical and emotional, remain. The story of Wittenoom is a stark reminder of the human cost of corporate greed and the importance of holding those in power accountable for their actions. It is a story that demands to be told. Despite the risks, a handful of residents have refused to leave Wittenoom. They are the last guardians of this ghost town, their lives intertwined with its tragic past. Their reasons for staying are complex and deeply personal. Some refuse to abandon their homes, the places where they raised their families and built their lives. And still others simply have nowhere else to go. The story of Wittenoom is a difficult one, filled with tragedy, loss, and injustice. But it is a story that must be told. Let the ghost town of Wittenoom serve as a reminder that the pursuit of progress must never come at the cost of human life. Let it be a testament to the power of corporate greed and the importance of holding those in power accountable for their actions. And let it be a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the face of tragedy, the human spirit can endure.